more speed, more fun, no compromise. So with that, we want to just recap a bit what we have said yesterday. So we walked a bit about on this layered architecture paradigm pattern, what we have seen, talking about innovation which have happened in the modular core, in the rendering and controls area, and the UI5 tooling. We saw a nice demo here on how things are fitting together. And on the last level, on the program model side, we said we keep something out, right, Stefan?
Yes, and this is somehow the technical term that we will look at today, metadata-driven UI. However, that's a technical term. What you will hear is now how to develop UIs, so more speed, how to develop UIs quickly, ideally with low code or no code ideally, then low code, and then enhanced where you need code, obviously. Then more fun, supported by the right tools with the right capabilities, also adding then SAP UI Flexibility, what Mikhail will also present to adjust the application, so more fun. And as everything is technically based on UI5, also no compromise in the technical capabilities. And with that, I will keep the intro short and welcome on stage Katja. The stage is yours. I'm happy that you take over and
thank you for the warm
do the
welcome,
best for the people.
Stefan.
Good.
And I'm truly proud to be here again. I cannot believe that I stand in front of an empty theater yet again. But despite being locked up for so long, I'm really proud to show you how far we have come over the last year. I'm not alone. In the chat is Sebastian, my partner in crime in the co-chief product owner role. He has more information for you and also answer all your questions. So do not hesitate to use the chat. SAP Fiori Elements keeps focused on 3 main benefits. UX consistency, so the ability to create apps that blend seamlessly with all other SAP-provided apps. Developer efficiency, so making tools that make your life easier, whether you are a Visual Studio Code user or a SAP Business Application Studio user. And of course, enterprise readiness. So the built-in support for features like draft handling, internationalization, adaptation, or accessibility. In order to improve the developer efficiency, we have, and also to make SAP Fiori Elements, of course, easier to learn, we have reworked our documentation. We have added a section on how to use the annotations for services using EDMX, CAP CDS, or ABAP CDS. And Gregor, I hope you are watching. Thank you for noticing and commenting on Twitter. And finally, we have one consistent example that shows you how to use those annotations in more complex scenarios. And it is my favorite SAP example, S-Flight, which is now available on CAP. And we launched an Open SAP course. This course walks you through the end-to-end process of how to create SAP Fiori apps. Søren, I hope you are in the audience. Thank you for that awesome public feedback. And part of this documentation is also built in SAP Fiori Tools with guided development. Let me show you. This is the CAP backend from S-Flight, checked out from GitHub in Visual Studio Code. Let me quickly create an application. This is our brand new application generator. And you can see you can create Fiori Elements applications, but you can also create SAP UI5 freestyle applications with it. Let's quickly create a list report object page. We also have a few more capabilities to connect to a backend. I need to select a service. My main entity is travel. course, each app has a name. And now a fully runnable project is generated, including the scaffolding for tests out of the box. OK, now the app is right away started with CDL Zoch, and I can launch it in the browser. I don't like that at the moment I don't see for all the travels the status. So I would like to add a column here that shows me the status. Therefore, I can use guided development. Let me show you how it turned out over the last year. I can open it with the command palette, and I can search for my guide. I start the guide. Of course, I have some mandatory fields like service, the entity, and of course the property I want to see. And now I can either copy the already changed code to the file, or I can simply hit Insert Snippet, and it's automatically injected into my annotation file. But of course, I can also change the annotation file directly. And of course, we do have LSP support for this. So let me search the filter bar. Here you go, selection fields. And let me add the same field there too. I save it. You can see that the server is automatically getting refreshed. And when I change to the browser, I have the field in the table as well as in the filter bar. We are also planning to make our tools increasingly more open source, and hope that you support us in improving and enhancing our tools, SAP Fiori Tools, in the future. Ethan Volker, thank you for making the entire case for the development community. And as a first step into that direction, we have released the SAP Fiori Elements add-on for OpenUI5 last year. And if you would like to join the communication and to join the discussion about the future of SAP Fiori Elements and SAP Fiori Tools, we would like to invite you to our development community roundtable. And if Sebastian in the US didn't fall asleep yet, you should find the sign-up link in the chat. When we discuss the future of our products, there is always one ask from you. Lower the burden of entry for developers and provide easy, low-code development tools. We are planning to enhance the application modeler with drag-and-drop functionality to make it easier for you to create simple apps. But we even went one step further. We are planning to release a brand new simple page type, the form page. It is designed for simple, straightforward data entry scenarios. And if you want to learn more about it, you can either wait until we release it officially, or you can join in roughly 1 hour the session hosted by Steffi and Ian to learn more about it. But this is UI5con. And I think most of you are certainly not low-code developers. And we also have a few brand new features in the SAP Fiori Elements floor plans for OData v4 that enable a rapid development of extensions. And I personally love to show off our building blocks and the flexible programming model, because the building blocks, they allow you to benefit from all the SAP Fiori Elements values in your own extension. So you get the same UX consistency. You get a lot of the enterprise-ready capabilities. And developing with our building blocks is exciting, really easy, and super powerful. Let me show you. This is my object page. And I really don't like that the customer ID is below the agency ID. So I can edit the object page in the application modeler. I can open the fields, and I can easily drag and drop the customer ID above the agency ID. The UI gets refreshed, and the order of the fields is changed. Yes. I also think that a single line input field for the description is not enough space for me. So I can simply, with one click, change it to a text area. And now I have much more space for my travel description. But I wanted to show you our building blocks. So I need a custom section for that. I want to have my travel plan. So let's go for a map and a table. That's my travel plan. And I want to have this translated, so I can immediately add it to my I18N property file. I want to have it below my travel. And now the scaffolding for the extension is created for me. I have prepared a snippet. And this line, that is all what you need to do to add the building block table. And when I save it, and go back to the browser, and the browser is refreshed, I can see the table. And the great thing is this table already interacts seamlessly with my application. So when I go into the edit mode, and I have maintained a side effect in the backend, and I change, for example, the price, watch the total price here, you can see that the price is automatically changed. And you can also see on the right end of my browser that the draft was saved. Of course, I can also add a message strip. And as I said, I want to have a table with my travel schedule, a map with my travel schedule. Save it again. Now the browser refreshes. And I should see the application with, here you go, with the message strip, the map, and my table. But this was just a glimpse of the functionality we have been working on last year. And if you want to learn more, and I'm sure you want to learn more about SAP Fiori Elements and SAP Fiori Tools, we have a session in, I think, roughly 30 minutes, hosted by Ian and Steffi, and they will go much more deeper into the topic. But the life cycle of an application doesn't end with creating the application. this is where the life of the app is just getting started. And we all know business requirements are changing over the life of the application. And to learn more about SAP UI5 Flexibility and how this can help you to keep your app up to date, let me welcome Mikhail, the product owner for SAP UI5 Flexibility, here on stage.
Thank you, Katja. I'm especially excited about the flexible programming model because I believe that flexibility is the key in the changing world. If I had told you 1.5 years ago that during the next few months, every business and each person's life will be impacted by a massive change, you probably wouldn't believe me. But here we are today. So ability to adapt to the changes and in timely manner cope with the new reality is as important as ever before. And this is where SAP UI5 Flexibility truly shines, because it empowers business users and citizen developers to change their UIs without costly development projects or lengthy trainings. So let me show you how the improved SAP UI5 Flexibility cloud service, UI5 Flexibility for key users, can improve lives of our customers. So in flexibility, we always had our focus on certain qualities, such as intuitive tooling or lifecycle stable changes, which means that you do not need to re-implement the changes once the upgrade happens or the system was upgraded. And without compromising on these qualities, we are now offering our solution also in business technology platform Cloud Foundry, offering it on top of a cloud service delivery with all the cloud qualities underneath. So here I have the already well-known S-Flight application deployed into my BTP Cloud Foundry account running there. And funnily enough, it's a travel app, you know, and there is no better example to showcase the whole point about coping with the new reality. So there are certain global travel restrictions at the moment, right, and global policies, and we must comply with them, also with this application. As a key user, luckily, I can implement the needed requirements on my own directly here. As I have a key user role, I can start process of UI adaptation directly from my Launchpad. However, we are also supporting freestyle applications deployed in a standalone fashion. Let me refresh the browser tab, because with cloud we are running into timeouts from time to time. So we also support freestyle applications, and as I have said, plus we can also support standalone applications without Launchpad with our new service offering. So once adaptation is started, the UI of the application will be converted to the so-called adaptation mode. But no worries, no changes at the moment can break the application for productive usage, because we have so-called draft mode. It means that each change key user is implementing is not active but saved in the draft state until key user explicitly decides to activate the draft. So now let's get some changes done. So in order to make the changes, I will navigate to the object page using your adaptation navigation mode. And add the required fields to the UI of my application. So here I need to make a short remark. Of course, first of all, I will need to get the fields into underline or data service. And with ABAP RESTful programming model, we already have even a way for key users to create changes to the OData service directly from the UI without writing a single line of code. With Cloud Application Programming Model, we are also working on this capability, so stay tuned for it for our updates in the roadmap. For now, I've already prepared the field, and I've done it via CAP SAS extensibility. So I've created this extension field already. However, it's not yet visible on the UI. And this is where UI adaptation comes in handy. So with UI adaptation, you can see all the fields associated to the current data context and add or remove them from the UI as you require. In this case, let me add this new field, PCR test required, to indicate whether this particular travel requires a PCR test. So as you can see, field is added. Let's make some housekeeping. So let's basically create a couple of groups. One I will call booking details, and another I will call travel information, so that I have better structure in my application as required for my business case. So let me now, with using drag and drop, so it's completely no code extensibility solution, I will rearrange the UI, so move the fields and add the PCR test is required to the travel information, booking fee to the booking details, total price also goes there. Status belongs to the travel information. Okay, great. Let's say that now I've changed the state of my UI to the desired requirement. And as I mentioned before, we are currently in the draft state, as you can see here. So in order to activate my extensions, I will need to activate the draft now. And I will give a new name to this version. You will see in a moment why I'm doing this. OK, once the draft is activated, I can save and exit and basically test that everything is working fine. So to do so, I will switch to the edit mode. And as you can see, PCR test field is fully functional. So I can interact with that. I can save the travel information, as well as I can go back to the table and add the field there in personalization mode. So with UI5 flexibility, we are also working on enabling variant management for key users, so that key users will be able to create variants, and more important, to set default variants for every end user in this application. This is a feature which is going to be released next. As you can see, after I've added the table column, field results are already visible there as well. But I'm sure the new changes are also coming. Hopefully next time there will be positive changes, and I will need to remove the restrictions I have made. And with the latest additions to UI adaptation, also managing of the changes is very simple and in the low-code fashion. So one thing I've mentioned already was a draft, and you remember I've assigned the new name to the version. So as you can see, we now have in UI adaptation the list of the versions available for you, so that if you need to go back to the previous version or compare anything, you can do it directly in the UI. Of course, if more complex changes are required, a development must be involved. So even for developers, in low-code fashion, in SAP Business Application Studio, UI5 Flexibility is offering intuitive tooling and low-code offerings, so that you do not need to understand how the underlying application is built in order to change it. We have the same seamless solution for Freestyle and Fiori Elements applications. We support ABAP on-premise platform, And with the recent addition, we are also now offering support for business technology platform Cloud Foundry applications. So make sure to check it. And if you want to learn more about SAP UI5 Flexibility or adaptation projects in particular, I am encouraging you to join the ongoing Open SAP course because here there is a whole week dedicated to the topic. And with that, I want to thank you and hope to get in touch during the expert corner later during the break. And I'm handing over back to Stefan to conclude the keynote and kick off the day 2.
Thanks a lot, Mikhail. Good. We are already a bit over time. I get signals, so I have to keep it really, really short. So I hope you all saw these nice improvements that the colleagues have shown, Katja and Mikhail, that really make your life easier, guided development, really nice feeling, also the flexibility features, and we definitely will continue to work on that. So there's a lot more to come today, a lot of additional sessions that we don't want to spoil now in taking too much time, so please attend. Also make really use of GatherTown. It's a brilliant tool, makes also really fun, and obviously also you get the experts in there from us that give you consulting and or just a small talk, whatever you want. So thanks a lot for joining the keynote.